Hey guys, and welcome to Smells Like Teen Angst, and we are here to talk about Gossip Girl Season 2, Episode 4. And if you notice, I am here with one of my besties this time around. Keiki, say hello.
Hello, everyone. I've missed you. Let's gossip.
Girl. Tonight it is just Keiki and I. Shawn had some personal things he had to take care of, so he couldn't join us, but that's okay. We talk about stuff all the time, so it'll just be a girl gab fest. Right? Yes. Hello. I do want to address something before we get started, because there have been a couple comments on the first two videos mainly about how we missed stuff and how you don't understand how we missed things. Like apparently Obie is now in the first episode when he wasn't when we watched it. And something that I don't think people understand is we get screeners. So we watch this show very early.
So early.
So early.
We've already let's just say we've already been really far down this road. These episodes are pre-recorded, okay? Very. we like this episode we're about to talk about is not going to premiere for a couple of weeks, which they may ruin us again. Sarah. They may make us look like idiots. Again,
I'm so frustrated by it, because what happens is like networks give notes, but they know they need people to watch it so they can review it. So they send things out, but then they don't update what they send us. So let me just say that if all three of us miss something, that's not our fault.
Probably wasn't in the episode.
Yeah. But I will say it actually is a good
validating
thing. Right? Because these are the things we're complaining about, but then all of a sudden they're in the episode, which means other people are seeing and saying what we're saying and trying to make the show better.
Exactly.
Anywho,
it means that, there's still more to go.
There's still more to go.
We're on the bubble too.
We're on the bubble too. So that's all I have to say about that. So let's actually talk about episode 4. We are now in February. It is Valentine's Day. So the first 3 episodes took place in January. It's a very slow year. The Thruple. Aki doesn't seem to be feeling the Thruple anymore. He seems to think at this point in the episode the same thing that we do, that this is old hat and we don't like it and it needs to move on. Aki and so Audrey and Max are like, what's going on? He doesn't want to sleep with us. And they stalk him and follow him and see him get prepped. They stalk his phone and see these text messages. And they're like, oh man, Aki doesn't like us either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what? I get it. It was suspicious. But I do think that there wasn't enough resolve. Because even if we're going to get mad at each other for this whole invasion of privacy, why did you change the password on your phone? You need to tell me. That makes no sense. As a bestie of Sarah's for almost a decade.
Over a decade. How dare you?
Is it over a decade?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Ew. Gross.
Ew, gross. I know this girl's passwords,
all of them.
All of them. She knows mine too. So how can you just be in an intimate relationship with someone and not know the passwords to their phone? What are you hiding? You're still hiding stuff, Aki.
Exactly. We will talk about their non-resolution in a minute. Julian has decided to open up her life and do this reality streaming thing now, where she's like, I wasn't very honest about my life with Obie, and Obie's gonna be here, but as we know, Grace's mother is like, you can't hang out with Julian, so that's not working out for her. And when she's walking down the street after her disappointment, she meets a boy that she knew from the debutante ball. I think his name was Graham. They're very flirty and cute, and then she learns that he's married And it seems like a fleeting moment. But is it?
Mm-hmm.
I know. We're just going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that. Obie and Grace, because they are trying so hard to make them relevant and for us to care. We learned that the big penultimate moment at the end of last episode was that she's cheating on Obie. Grace is having an affair. And we now learn a name. His name is Mateus. Obie almost catches them because this episode, they reminded us that they're on HBOMax a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment when they're fooling around that I thought was disgusting. And I think YouTube will flag us. So I can't say it. I can't say it out loud.
Yeah.
But I feel like this storyline, because these characters, like Obie's not really built up enough anymore. We don't really care about Grace. Maybe that's just us. This storyline I do not care about. And it seems like a weird means to an end to pull Obie back into the fold of the friend group. And I don't love it.
I don't love it. I also am feeling like Grace is just has been boring, has been overutilized for being so boring, and adding this layer to her is just a way for them to murder her character. Like, that's what they're trying to do, you know?
That's right? That's it.
That's all we're trying to do, is make us hate Grace, because I think everyone is still team. You guys are being really mean to this girl who has mental health issues, you know, at a party just because she's dating Obie and she's kind of boring. Mm-hmm. And then they were just like, let's unborify her. By making her messier
other than being an alcoholic. Like, yeah, let's make her cheating. Let's give her this, like, the reason why she's doing it is because of her political mother. Like, this whole thing is lame, in my opinion. And even Julian catching her and Mateus on the street is like, okay,
so sloppy. I'm sorry, but like, people who cheat like that aren't that sloppy. I swear to God.
Right. Zoya is still being her bratty self. And I'm so glad to see a lot of people in the comments also are not here for her. And I appreciate that. It makes me feel very validated in my dislike of her, because she's still being such an ass to her dad. Like Mr. DeHaan, because, you know, Nick is now working for Monet's father, Mr. DeHaan, and he sends over suits. And because he knows Nick doesn't have a ton of money, and that man cannot roll up to this office in a Men's Warehouse suit.
Mm-hmm. He can't be walking around his H&M. No. You know, he's going from public defender status to like high paying firm. I'm sorry, but a well-paid lawyer wears Armani. Like, it is what it is.
I mean, he could maybe get away with Zara, like maybe.
And on a tidbit, I do want to say, overall, the fashion was fashioning this episode.
It was so much better this episode.
It was hitting, okay? Like, people were looking expensive. Like, things are very current on these people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was just like, finally impressed for once. I was like, and that's what money wears. Like, that's how I felt, you know?
Yeah. And then you have Shan, who is like, surprisingly at this point in the episode, still holding on to the secret that she knows about Nick and Davis. And so instead of like dealing with it, and like there's like a tip that she sends off to Gossip Girl, because she's like, I don't know what to do with this, but you should look into this. And then there was a moment with her and her dad where Zoya and I finally agreed on something, that Love Actually is a terrible movie. I digress. It was just a nugget that I was like, oh my gosh, do we agree finally?
But it is a terrible movie. I'm sorry. Okay.
So I did a TikTok trend that was like, what's a movie that everyone loves that you hate? And mine was Love Actually, because it's terrible. You know? Kate, this episode, is setting up a Valentine's Day date with Dirty Teacher. I call him Dirty Teacher because he's like scandalous and up to something.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I think it was Matt. I had it right last week.
Yeah.
And she gets a very interesting photo sent to Gossip Girl that is of Mr. DeHaan kissing someone that's not his wife.
Bah, bah, bah.
I know. And she decides that, hey, I'm not going to just put this on Gossip Girl. I'm going to try and make an olive branch and kind of fix things between myself and Mrs. DeHaan. And instead she gets her ass handed to her. And she basically, like, Monet's mother threatens her life, threatens her job, threatens everything about her. And so she has to decide what to do. And I think how she handled it was very smart.
Yes, she handled it very smart.
She makes that blind post that could be about anything, but those in the know. No.
Yeah. I feel like it also gives me, like, it gave me a little bit of insight into how they deal with the teachers.
Mm-hmm. Like the parents.
Blackmail, yeah, the parents, they're like, blackmail's not going to work. Honey, no, I'll end you. Like, you can come into the circle when you're useful to the circle, which makes Matt even sneakier because all the parents used to love him, right?
Right.
So why is he worth it to the circle? What parent is he in cahoots with? I can't wait to find out.
It's Georgina. It has to be Georgina. Like, otherwise, what's the point? Unless there's someone else coming to Gossip Girl that we don't know about, but we know Michelle Trachtenberg is coming back and that her son is at the Constance. So
I know, but like, what is Leighton Meester doing? What is Blake Lively doing? Like, why can't
having
they
babies? She's having so many children with her hot husband.
Is Blake Lively pregnant again?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. All the babies.
If I had Ryan Reynolds too.
I know. It is what it is. Monet is still sitting on her queen bee status. However, she is like lightening her school rules because what she wants is to be feared and loved like Shonda Rhimes.
Wait, but fact though. That was a really funny line.
It really was.
I cackled when I heard that line. And it's because if anybody's ever watched a Shonda Rhimes show, she will kill someone you love. No remorse, out of nowhere. And it's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I love her shows. I love her dearly, but I'm afraid of her. Because, like, I'm pretty sure fans could complain too much about not liking something. And then she's like, great, the whole show's canceled. Bye. Like, she has enough money to play these games with us.
Right. She's like, oh, Sloane's your favorite character. Lexi's your favorite character. You love George. Like, it's like Derek, Meredith is happy. Anyway.
I can't believe, like, I am still watching Grey's Anatomy.
We're 18 years later. This is where we're at.
I remember
even down the Station 19 round. She did the same thing on that show.
Yeah, I remember being in Drama 1 when this show came out. Like, sitting on the couch in Drama and being like, oh my God, did you watch the show? It's called Grey's Anatomy. It's so great.
There was bombs and bodies and like a shooter in the thing.
I know. Here I am, a lovely, in my 30s, still watching Grey's Anatomy.
I know. I do love that this episode broke formula a little bit. We didn't just have one big thing, which we do have, but we had a couple of big moments with everybody. Like the girls have a spa day, the guys have a guys day, and then we get a kiss on the lips party, which is from like the first episode of OG Gossip Girl, and it's where a lot of stuff goes down. So this spa day with the girls, I thought was fantastic. Like Julian, who is far from subtle, is trying to out Grace and her cheating, and she eventually confronts her, and Grace like tells her the story and how she's never gonna like stop. And I'm like, okay, Grace, no one cares about you this much.
Yeah. It's also triggering Monet.
Oh yeah. Monet gets super triggered by it because of her dad and the blind post from Gossip Girl. And she's like, that's about my dad. Everything's been weird with my parents. And I know. And you see a little bit of Monet's shell crack again and a little bit more of like her as a person. And I really like what they're doing with her. They did this last episode with the one girl, and when the girl was pretending to be gay, and we got to see that moment of her like choosing the right thing instead of herself. And she's kind of getting that a little bit with this storyline with her dad too. And then I do love how the girls all used the unlocking of the face on the phones to like get what they want. Because Zoya and Shan are there to like get the number of the boy that Zoya likes, you know. Mm-hmm. Julian needs to use Grace's phone in order to like get the guy that she's cheating with to come to this party. And I just think it's hilarious that they're all sleeping and they're all just like stealing their phones because they're all in this super relaxed spa mode. I thought it was so good.
I thought that was really good, but I was also like, are Google phones like just that sensitive? You know, because if I was blocking my eyeballs on my iPhone, like you can't unlock it. Like if I'm
not all have iPhones. I thought they had iPhones.
No, they were like Google phones. So I was like, are Google phones like that, like techie, where they're like, yeah, we could just look at your mouth and unlock your shit. Like, I don't know. But I was like, my phone won't unlock with sunglasses on. Like, how is it unlocking when they have cucumbers on their eyes?
I feel like it's one of those big moments of, you know, suspension of belief that Gossip Girl makes us do quite often. Like, you know, with the episode where like Kate and the other teacher were like peeking around the corner of the closet, but no one saw them. Or the moment with Kate and Julian when they're texting back and forth as Gossip Girl and Julian, and the phones are making noises. And I'm like, I think it's a little bit of that. Because you're right, Keiki, those phones are not supposed to work with just your eyeballs closed. But as a device, I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. It was fine. I was just like, maybe someone in the audience knows, like, they're like, yeah, I have a Google phone. They can unlock that easy. Like, I don't know. I've been in this iPhone gang since the beginning. I can't change. I can't go back. I'm too old to learn new technology.
And now I have to pay more attention to their phones. I just assumed they had iPhones because they're rich. Monet reaches out to Gossip Girl about that whole post with her dad, and Kate sends the photo and she knows exactly who the woman is, and she invites her to the kiss on the lips party. The guy day, it's Obie, Max, and Aki sitting on the couch. You know, Obie is, you know, getting high on life and talking about Grace and how in like freaking out about everything to do with them. And like Max is like, well, why doesn't she just come to Constance, and gives him this idea to get her enrolled in the school so that they can just like be together all the time, which is sweet if you don't know what else is going on. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes. Also, that whole scene where Max is trying to get Aki off the couch, it's just so like obvious
to get the LaCroix. Look, these kids are not as suave as the original Gossip Girl people.
No, but I'm over here like, writers, try harder. Mm-hmm. Like, I would do something completely different, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'd Bluetooth connect my phone to like a speaker in their bedroom and then go play like obnoxious music and be like, can you go turn that off? Like, you know,
what's going on? Why is that happening?
Going on? Why is that happening? That's annoying.
Not, I can't reach the LaCroix in the back of the fridge that you just reached to put back there. Like, Max isn't short. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'd lose my phone in the couch and be like, can you call my phone? You know, like, there's so many different ways to get someone's phone than that. That was stupid.
Can I use your phone to call my phone? I don't know where I put it. Yeah. Easy. Like, little like duh things.
They need to put like a younger person in that writer's room, okay?
Or maybe
I'm thinking small.
So we get this kiss on the lips party, which is, as I said, like an OG Gossip Girl party. It's where everything went down originally. It's where Chuck met Jenny and almost like essayed her, if you remember that storyline. How they made look, if they make Chuck Bass come back from that, maybe they'll make Davis come back from that. Anyway, you know what I mean? I don't know how they did it, but they did it. All sorts of shenanigans always go down at the kiss on the lips party. And as we mentioned the fashion before, I loved all the fashion at this party for the first time. I'm saying that. Even the bad wigs were fun and fitting?
I'm never gonna give the bad wigs a pass. I'm gonna be loud about that. The wigs are bad.
They are. But just let it happen, because I thought Monet's wig fit with her outfit. And I was just like, this is a choice. She's wearing this wig and styled it specifically. Also, Zoya's dark lip. Can we talk about that?
Okay, but when she wore dark lips last season too, I always obsessed. Like, she would be a goth queen. Like, she sings in the color black. Mm-hmm. Anything dark on her, she just like pops. And some people can do those tones and just do them well.
Absolutely incredible. Obie decides to give Grace a Constance patch and hoping that she'll go to school with him. And she's like, without talking to me? And like her brain is spinning. Julian, trying to out this whole thing, brings Mateus to the party, which just pisses off Obie even more. And I was like, because they did it badly. Like, you got to roll up and pretend like you don't know each other. And then it's got to like eventually come out. So like a lot of these confrontations are just done by, and I guess because in this version of Gossip Girl, they're letting them be kids in adult situations, but they're still giving them that kind of childlike mentality of constantly like butting heads, constantly confronting. Where in the original Gossip Girl, it was a lot more sneaky and a lot more smart and thought through.
Yes. And I mean, I believe that in the OG Gossip Girl, because like we've said, these kids have really high profile parents. So they've seen their parents approach these situations, broach gossip and weird adult issues multiple times in life. Like we learn how to deal with people from our parents. So the fact that they don't know how to deal with people, it's like, it's things that the parents aren't teaching. Like, we need the parents to up the ante, because I'm not getting enough from the parents.
Right. And we've said that the parents are actually the most interesting before. And I think I'll get to this in a minute, but I think there's a reason they're doing this. And I don't know if they thought this was the reason in the beginning, but maybe they got here eventually. Charlie XCX performs at the Kiss on the Lips party, which I thought was really fun and cool. And then like when Gossip Girl makes her post, you see her even looking at Gossip Girl. So I thought that was fun, because at that big party last year, they had, who was it that performed? Do you remember?
Princess Nokia, right?
Yes. Princess so like Nokia. They had like another big artist, and like, if no one knows Charlie XCX, listen to her music. Her latest album's fantastic. And I don't know why.
Really good. It took her 1,000 years to like release it, but it's good.
It's so good. Monet confronts her parents with this woman again, and a kind of a big secret drops, in that it seems from this casual, like covert conversation, that Monet's mother is a lesbian. And she did a lot of the things that a lot of people of her generation did, where she still got married, had a child. And now that they have more money and are open and are best friends, she's living her lifestyle while her husband is allowed to have his.
Yeah. And I appreciate the show for giving other examples of what polyamory is, because there are like multiple ways to have multiples in relationships, you know?
Absolutely.
The way their situation works was like, you know, me and your dad's mistress, like this makes the both of us happy. But again, with Monet's mom just ripping her to shreds, like
eviscerating.
Jesus, like the woman is harsh, you know.
Right. Because she's mad that it was done in public again, because she sees Kate seeing all of it and hearing all of it, and she's like, I've lost my upper hand in this whole thing because of you.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's some real like villain origin story shit. Like, her mom is just brutal.
Facts. is Shay and Zoya at this party very much this whole thing upsets me and makes no sense. They do get the boy that Zoya likes to come to the kiss on the lips party. He shows up. Shay snatches him from Monet and she's like, it's fine. It was me. I got this. And then takes him. And then Zoya finds them making out in a bathroom together. And Shay's excuse is that she's been holding
Isn't it
on.
Shan?
Shan's excuse is that Shan's excuse is that she's been holding on to this secret about Nick and Davis. And so she's taking it out on Zoya. That doesn't make sense.
It makes zero sense. And honestly, the way Shan was introduced to us just seems like she's the type of character who's so honest and like out and loud about how she feels at all times. Mm-hmm. So I don't get why she held on to the secret for so long. There's no reason. And for her to act out that way, it's out of character for her. It's just wrong. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we making her out to be this? Like, and honestly, you can't give Zoya a friend and take her only friend away. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Zoya didn't have any friends. We give her one friend and now let's just destroy it.
Exactly. It only made, like, the only part of this thing that made sense was when Shan was being weird towards Nick, asking him questions, forcing him to like try and own up himself. And he didn't. And that part makes sense. Anything outside of that, no. Mm-mm. And then she screams the secret so that Zoya can go confront her father, and he doesn't, and Julian's there, and it's really just kind of more of this like dun 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 moment. There's no resolve, there's no conversation. It's just the secret is now out in the open, and I'm assuming it'll be a big focus of the next episode.
I know. Oh, okay.
You're like, I'm over it.
I'm just still mad about it. We'll figure it out. We'll see what happens. But yeah. This is black on black crime. I'm just
we finally get the big blow up of Grace and Julian and Obie and Mateus, and like, because Julian then brings the mother and the brother and all these people, and they're like, we thought this was over, and she's like, I can't be over. And then it comes out even more secrets that it's not just Mateus that Grace is hooking up with.
It's some flowers in the attic shit. It's some twin cess nasty.
Oh, I said what when that happened?
You know, kudos to Gossip Girl for just constantly crossing the line.
Constantly. Oh my God. Like that, they didn't have to go there. But someone rewatched the movie or read the book recently and said, you know what? She has a twin. What if we did this to get rid of her? And the mom knew. The mom was like, I thought that was done. You said you weren't going to do that again. And I said, what the mother knew? I got to so I'm like, I can't. Could not. That actually
so wrong.
Flabbergasted me.
It's so wrong. I would literally change my kids' names and send them to boarding schools on different continents so they'd never see each other again, because that's wrong. And I'd pay for all the therapy because that's wrong. Like, that gave Grace so many levels of messed up in the head that just are so unfair. And
like, is this why she was an alcoholic? This is why she drinks? Because she's in love with her brother? I've seen Blue Lagoon. Like,
it's a lot of trauma porn. It's feeling really Colleen Hooverish, and I'm done.
So let's move on from Grace and her twin brother. And let's get to these little buttons a little bit. So Aki, Audrey, Max finally talk because they confront him at this party. And, you know, Aki admits that, you know, they've been wanting him to bottom for a while, and he's nervous. He's never done it. So he reached out to Rex to learn how, and he was teaching him like how to train himself for it, and got him toys and he got on prep and he said it's because, they've never had that conversation. And I'm like, Aki should not be the only one on prep. And I really wish that this show, if they're going to do this storyline, taught that, because Audrey can take it. It's not just for gay men. It's not just for queer people. It is for everyone. So if you're concerned about that, you can also, everyone can get on it.
Yeah. But also discuss sexual health with your partners. Make sure your relationships are as safe and close as you wish them to be.
Yes.
Before making any decisions like that, but it is your body and your choice, and you should be allowed to protect yourself as you see fit.
Absolutely. And if your partner isn't comfortable with going to get tested or showing you test results, then that might not be the partner for you, because no one should be against it and no one should be ashamed. Everyone should be open to making sure that they are safe.
Exactly. And it means absolutely nothing if you do what you want to do with your body and your sexual health. It has nothing to do with your love of your partner or your care or respect for
or
them.
Trust.
Or trust. Just because you're on birth control doesn't mean you're cheating. It means you don't want a pregnancy at this point. Like, that's okay.
Exactly. So I really want Gossip Girl to give the after school special that we just did. In order.
Let's go full circle. Everyone be safe.
Everyone be safe. And then again, this show reminded us in this episode that we are watching a show on HBOMax, because this graphic sex scene between the three of them and Max being like, "Are you ready?" I was like, oh.
I know. Penetration is just something that is very 2022 lately. Like, I have not seen that in TV or movies until this year. And I didn't know that I could gasp at sexual situations anymore. So I like it. It's let it be known. Like, everybody fucks. Like,
I haven't seen that since OG Queer as Folk. You know what I mean? Because
I was too little.
Oh,
but girl, I was like,
what else? Oh, this is the point that I was getting to earlier, that the fact that the kids are not as good as the parents, right? The millennials that have the Gen Z kids. Matt makes a very good point to Kate that the real monsters are not these children. It is the parents, because they're the ones who are influencing the kids this way, but aren't teaching them how to do it properly. And so I'm like, what's happening now? Are we going to flip Gossip Girl? Is Gossip Girl going to stop focusing on the children and go after the parents? There's a lot of places.
Is she going to become an equal opportunist?
Exactly.
How very page 6 of her,
Yeah. And then Kate sleeps with him. And I was like, girl, okay.
I mean, it's been being set up for a while that they are relationship, they're booty butt buddies, we're doing a thing. And then again, with going through people's phones, dun, dun, dun.
But this wasn't even her going through his phone. This was his text messages popping up on his computer for all to see.
Exactly. And people have been caught that way, on iPads and computers, watches. Be careful what you be careful what you sync your stuff to.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Jude Law too. So I'm like, guys, technology isn't always your friend.
No, she's pretty evil.
Yeah. So she sees those texts that we were talking about last episode of who is he texting, and saying, I need the identity of Gossip Girl tomorrow. And she's just like, what the? And I thought that was really funny. Gossip Girl breaks the news about Nick and Davis. So it's not even like Nick and his daughters could have a conversation. It is just out there and about there via Gossip Girl. And I was like, well, dang. I thought that there was a really nice moment between Monet and Luna at the end of this, where they were talking about life and love and being loved versus being hated, because Monet is reeling about her parents, which is very understandable. And she's just like, I don't want love. I don't want this. I'd rather be hated. And Luna's like, let's calm down. And I thought they had this really beautiful conversation. And if they're just going to use Luna as like the voice of reason a lot, I'm actually okay with that, but I need them to do it more often because I just like her so much as a character.
Yeah. I was sad that we had to wait like legitimately until the end of the episode for more Luna. Because she gives me life. She does a really good job at kind of just like being the levity in this show.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But hope for the future.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, Obie's at home alone, crying on his couch. Zoya went to Shan's house. Why? I'm upset. Anyway, and then Julian meets up with the married guy, saying she needs to talk to someone who doesn't know her life, and is asking if he could be that person for her. And he says yes. Now, sir, like, are we really going to put Julian with a married 22-year-old man?
I know. Like I was saying, I hope it's like a weird rom-com storyline where like he got married and his partner's now dead and gone, but he can't take off the wedding band or something. Like that's just not the type of messy I want. I also don't like married men leaving the house late at night to have drinks with random women.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't your partner ask you where you're going?
You think so?
I would ask.
Yeah. And like when he talked about his wife earlier in the episode, he was like, yeah, she's fine. Basically was like the vibe he gave. He's like, she was my high school sweetheart. We got married, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, she's fine. Obviously, he's not happy. And that's why he's willing to do this with like talk to Julian, but
it's going to need another layer. I'm an illegal immigrant. I'm like something, because honestly, like that is valid. Okay. The pathway to immigration in this country is,
I don't think that's it. They're just high school sweethearts, got married too young, Keiki. That's what they're going to do. Cause he's just an average Joe too. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he went to like a fancy school.
No, but I'm just saying like that could be a thing, right?
No, no, that's not going to be a thing.
I'm trying to make up any and every storyline in my head for this to not be a married man that she's about to
probably hook up with,
hop into bed with.
Yeah. As a 17, however old she is.
17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
As a child.
So then we can hear people on the internet be like, it's 17 is legal in New York. She's a child. She's a kid. Let's calm down.
Kid. I'm sorry. When you were 21, were you thinking about dating someone in high school? Because I wasn't.
No. It's disgusting. That's the one main storyline I don't love. I think they trashed Grace as someone we don't care about. They're finally giving us a version of Julian that I like. And this is where they're going to take her. And I don't love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I mean, we've got a lot more episodes to get through for season 2. And this was just episode 4. So Valentine's Day, we've got like 5 more months to get through before the end of the year, guys. There's a lot more happening.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I thought this episode was fun. I thought it was very messy in mostly the right ways. What about you?
We're on a trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
We're utilizing the characters a little bit more. We're using the parents a little bit more. We murdered Grace.
Oh my gosh, in like the most callous way.
Yeah, I'm gonna need less throuple drama.
It's really boring. It's really terrible.
Give them something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to introduce another storyline of some sort because we're killing things pretty quickly, and I'm on episode 4 and I'm already a little bored.
Who's the bad guy? We don't like because
Who's the bad guy?
Who's the bad guy?
Matt, the teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know. We breaking up friendships. But
not like anyway. So we'll just see what happens. We will see what happens in episode 5 next week, and we'll keep trucking along. But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Keiki, where can people find you?
I'm Keiki. Of course, you can always find me at Smells Like Teen Angst. And every once in a while, I do play D&D on QueueTimes. We are on hiatus till like February of next year. So you're just going to have to watch the reruns, okay? On QueueTimes, Blackness and Dragons. We do some nerdy stuff.
And it's a blast. You'd love it. And I'm Sarah. I'm always here on Smells Like Teen Angst. You can find me here on Instagram, on TikTok. But yeah, until next week, we'll see you then.
Bye.